Okay, thank you all very much for coming today. I'm Burke Norton, the Chief Legal Officer of Salesforce.com. We're delighted to have you all here today. It's an exciting day for Salesforce. We hope it's an exciting day for all of you as well. First, I want to mention a few of our distinguished guests that are here today. Obviously, to my left here, Leader Nancy Pelosi, our extraordinary Congresswoman who's been a great friend. A great friend to Salesforce and to the entire community for many, many years. Leader Pelosi has also been extraordinarily helpful with a lot of the issues that are extremely important to the technology industry. Just in the last few weeks, she's helped to pass comprehensive patent legislation reform in the House of Representatives, which is an extraordinarily important issue, not just for the technology industry, but also for Main Street America now as well. So thank you for being here. I also, of course, want to thank the mayor for being here. Mayor Ed Lee has made it a priority. He's made it a priority to make San Francisco the innovation capital of the world. That's something he said from his very first day in office. And I think on all accounts, he's succeeding wildly. So thank you very much for everything you're doing, Mayor. He's also prioritized job creation in San Francisco. And in his short administration, the unemployment rate in San Francisco has declined by almost 50%, which is an extraordinary achievement. So thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. We also have with us today Assemblymember Phil Ting, Supervisor Jane Kim, Supervisor David Chu, Maria Ayerdi Kaplan from the Transbay Transit Center, Fire Chief Joanne Hayes-White, John Ram, San Francisco Planning Department Director, Cindy Wu, San Francisco Planning Commission President, Tom O'Connor from the San Francisco Firefighters Labor Union, Todd Williams from the San Francisco Carpenters Labor Union, Bijan Sartipi from the Transbay Joint Powers Authority, Bob Peaster from Boston Properties, Paul Paradis from Hines, Fred Clark from Pelly Clark Pelly, and we also have with us Parker Harris, the company's co-founder, standing right here, and George Hu, the company's Chief Operating Officer, right there. Thank you, everyone, for being here. So I think all of you know that Salesforce was founded right here in San Francisco 15 years ago. And from the very beginning, Salesforce has prioritized growing and hiring here in San Francisco. And that is why I'm so excited to unveil the newest addition to our growth and our commitment in San Francisco, which will be Salesforce Tower, a 61-story tower to be built right outside this window, which will fundamentally transform the beautiful skyline of San Francisco. It's an iconic building, and I think you'll agree in just a moment when you see the model of it. It's an extraordinary building. It will also dramatically increase the size of our worldwide corporate campus here in San Francisco. We will be occupying more than half of the 1.4 million square feet that's being developed in Salesforce Tower. In addition, the location obviously couldn't be more beneficial for Salesforce, being adjacent here to our facility in 50 Fremont Street, and also our new building that we're building just across the street here at 350 Mission. Salesforce Tower will be the heart of our urban corporate campus. And of course, it's also the front door to the new Transbay Transit Center, which will not only benefit those of us here in San Francisco, but the entire region, which is terrific. You know, Salesforce Tower isn't only going to benefit Salesforce. In fact, the project is also helping to fund the Transbay Transit Center. 1% of the construction budget is being used for public art on the project, and more than $50 million of fees is going to be generated for the city to use for investment in affordable housing, infrastructure developments, and education and healthcare programs. So that's great for the city as well. 15 years after starting here in San Francisco, the company has really seen extraordinary success. Last year, our annual revenue was more than $4 billion. Forbes magazine has named Salesforce the most innovative company in the world for 3 years in a row. We now have over 14,000 employees, with 4,000 of those employees right here in the San Francisco Bay Area, and most of those employees right here in downtown San Francisco, which is extraordinary. I'm excited to announce today that just over the next year, we expect to hire an additional 1,000 employees here in San Francisco.
All right.
Salesforce Tower will give us the capacity and the ability to continue expanding in San Francisco, adding thousands of jobs in San Francisco, and nothing makes us more excited than that. So very happy to announce all of that today. I want to thank a number of people who have helped with the project so far to date. Obviously, our elected officials, including Leader Pelosi and Mayor Lee, labor leaders, members of the Transbay Joint Powers Authority, our architect, Pelly Clark Pelly, Boston Properties, and everyone who's here today. We'll hear from Leader Pelosi in just a moment, but first, Mayor Lee, would you like to say a few words?
All right. Burke, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning.
I know that we're in the cloud up here today, but I will say there's nothing cloudy about what is going to be announced and unveiled. It is clearly something that we have been planning for quite a number of years, and I know Leader Pelosi will talk about a little bit of that history. But I'm excited, Burke. I'm excited, not just in a congratulatory way, but in a very humbly thank you to a company that I've seen grow from their start. And what a way to celebrate 15 years of success, to say that not only are we growing in the city, but we want to make a commitment that's much more broader than just being a great corporate citizen. You know, when we understand what it means for the employees of Salesforce to be here and to see their numbers grow, it isn't really about corporate expansion. It's about more volunteers in our education system. It's about more people that are going to contribute to the things we need to get done in our city to help people get ahead in their lives, to help the less fortunate, to be in their schools and in the food shelters and in the training centers for people who want better jobs. We're talking about a company that's got one of the greatest corporate souls that I've ever seen. And this is why it's more than just a celebration. And so I will remind everyone, because I know Maria from the very start, when she was appointed to head this up by Mayor Willie Brown, we talked a lot about how are we going to get this done here in Transbay. It's one thing to suggest to people that we want to be the northern end of high-speed rail. Yes, good idea. Good luck. But then we've got not only friends, we've got great San Franciscans in Leader Pelosi who says, well, we need to act first. And at that time, and we're reminded some 16 years ago, it was literally a leap of faith when we suggested that right here in downtown, we could work with our planning department, all the different agencies, to create something with these previous redevelopment sites and say we can build housing, we can build good offices and we can build them right next to the transportation center that we used to call simply the Greyhound Depot. And everybody remembers what that building looked like. I do, because I used to have to clean up the alleyway every single day.
Not personally.
Personally, yes. Yeah, DPW, I was called upon to do that. So I heard everything, I saw everything, and I smelled everything. But anyway, but now you see that transformation, and we're very, very lucky that this city, because of the early faith that people had, not only in the planning that we did, not only in the private developer site that Maria had to spend hours with our Transbay Joint Powers and all the people in the city to convince to be here, but also that we had to create a picture of confidence in our city. This is what it really means. And the thanks here is not just about an expanding company. It's about a company that has faith in our city and is demonstrating that, has faith in the values that we try to teach our kids about giving back, has faith in creating jobs for other people and making sure they're welcomed into a great city like San Francisco. These are the things that I am learning to appreciate more and more as we try to unite this city on everything from increasing the minimum wage to getting more housing done to collaborating with our business partners to get 7,000 summer jobs together like Salesforce is helping us do. So it means a lot more, and it's never been about a beautiful building on the skyline. It will be about that, but it will be much more than that when you know who's in the building. half of the corridor, because it's a welcomed big thanks for our city who appreciates the corporate soul that your company represents. And I say this with conviction, with all sincerity, and with passion, because I don't think all of us would be as enthusiastic if it was just a company. I think Boston Properties and Hines, when they were announcing their ownership of this development, they were saying, well, we're kind of building on speculation, but we have a lot of faith in what the city is doing. We have a lot of faith that we're welcoming a great new workforce to help us do. So it means all of these things, and I want to spend this time thanking Salesforce, thanking Boston Properties and Hines for having the faith here, thanking our Transbay joint powers and all of the different agencies that have worked together. But I want to give a thanks to all the employees that work at this great company. You have continued to demonstrate. We will continue to celebrate with you. We'll continue to work with you on behalf of everyone in the city. It's a great day. I am so positive about this, and it has made my day for sure, my week, but 15 years and celebrating here today in the clouds with all of you is a great celebration. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, thank you for your great leadership. We are all so proud of our mayor, not only in our city, but across the country. He is recognized as a person who, by dint of his experience, is operational. He's there to get the job done. He's a mayor for results. And this partnership with Salesforce is just one manifestation, however, a very significant manifestation of that success. The mayor is a person who believes in community, and Salesforce does too. And he knows that the word community has the word unity in it. And so in order for us to succeed, we have to come together, build consensus to get the job done. Mayor said and Burke said that I might talk about the history. Before I do, I want to congratulate Burke. Thank you very much for your leadership at Salesforce. Burke Norton and Parker Harris. Again, thank you, George Hu. Thank you, George Hu. And Maria, well, I'll talk about Maria in terms of the history. My son, Paul Jr., my daughter, Christine, are here, and I mention that because when their father, my husband, Paul, was growing up in San Francisco, there was a law that said no building should be higher than the Ferry Building. Think of that as you look down on the Ferry Building from any number of buildings in the city. And it was a real challenge to our sense of community to build consensus to say that if we're going to be a center of commerce, if we're going to be a place that creates jobs, gives people opportunity, we had to have the physical facilities to do just that. And it was a struggle. Oh, Mayor, I don't know if you were born yet, but that's what it was. It was very tough. U.S. Steel building, some of you remember, Chief, your father probably remembers all of that. But in any case, San Francisco, by recognizing all the stakeholders, which Salesforce is in the forefront of doing, not just the bottom line of the company, of the corporation, but the employees, the clients, the sense of community. What this means to the community, we are to a place where today Salesforce is taking us to new heights. New heights in terms of opportunity for people in our community, new heights springing not just from this physical tower, which we're the tallest in the West. There may be another that comes after, but Salesforce is setting the pace, And so I want to thank all of you. I want to thank Mark and Lynn for being pillars of our community, investing in the education of our children with the Mayor's Middle School initiative to keep families in the city, investments in the health of our children in a regional way, San Francisco and Oakland, another $100 million, almost $250 million to say our children have to be healthy. In that way, a remarkable generosity of spirit and recognition of how everything is connected. And then Salesforce as a bulwark of again, commerce, job creation, and the rest. So, Maria, I want to pay tribute to you as we do the history, because right around the time Salesforce, Parker Harris and Mark Benioff were creating Salesforce was around the time, 16 years ago, 1 year before. Was it 16 years? 16 years ago, how much did we get? $10 million. I was able to get $10 million for the planning and the rest, for the idea of the Transbay terminal and all of this. Now, you have to understand that anytime you try to get that kind of money, which sounds small now in light of everything that has happened, but you have to show that there's consensus in the community, that not only will this be a structure, but it will promote commerce, it will allow for affordable housing, it will be a dynamic force in the community, not just a physical structure. And that was the faith that Congress had in this initiative. Now, fast forward to Barack Obama, ARA, the American Reinvestment and Recovery Act, hundreds of millions of dollars to make this a reality. So this is the ultimate public-private partnership, because without the private sector, there's no way to build the consensus to say, as expression we use, dirt will fly if we invest this money. But it will not only build that, but it will build, again, community. It will, again, create jobs, which is so very, very important. So whether it's the philanthropy of the founders and the members of Salesforce and we've come together to talk about the foundation and the things that the foundation has done, whether it's the creation of jobs, which is the ultimate philanthropy, and it's not a giveaway, but it is the ultimate lifter up of people, creation of jobs, whether it's the ripple effect, really strong ripple effect that this will all have. We are very, very blessed to have Salesforce in our midst, going into this big high tower in the cloud, but as the mayor said, nothing cloudy about the thinking. It's a physical reality that will be in the cloud, as well as technologically, and it is something that, again, serves as an example of public-private initiatives to work together. So Parker, thank you. Mark, thank you. And Lynn, I put them together. George, thank you. Burke, thank you. Maria, thank you. Mr. Mayor, really, you're the catalyst. You make so many things happen. And I'm very honored to be with you and Salesforce today. And I just can't wait to see what we're going to see in just a minute. So let's all express our appreciation to Salesforce.
Okay, with that, shall we reveal Salesforce Tower? There you are. Why don't you stand here? You can stand here, and we'll just, on the count of three. 1, 2, 3.
Wow!